It's Thursday, it's 8 o'clock, and it's the big 150th episode of the Big Detective Show. And my friend and confidant, Mr. Adrian Gaylor, is back. Good evening, darling. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Yes, 150. Well done, David, and everyone involved. Producers well, I just come on here tonight and have a drink. But no, good to be back.
That's what I do. I have a drink of Pepsi.
You do, and I have Vimto. Sorry about last week. I had an event to go to. Yeah, I went to a brewery and I went to a comedy night, which was very, very good. And saw Clinton Baptiste, who was on Phoenix Nights, those who might remember him. And it was an absolute hoot. But yeah, good. Very good. And
I think Cookie should try and get him on at the RCM, to be honest.
Well, that's what I thought. He was actually, oh my gosh, yeah. That'd be good. He can't have children there, and he does
Adrian,
upset some people.
I've just got to say, I've just put the comments on because obviously I've been busy doing other bits. It's like 450,000 comments as well, so I can't go through everybody because there's lots of everyone. But welcome to everybody who watches the show normally, and especially welcome to all the people who not watched before. Welcome.
Yes, especially Darren Davidson. He didn't know I drink. I didn't before I did this, but I do now. But thank you, James. Cheers, mate.
Do you want to give the new viewers a quick overview of the show, Adrian? And because you do it so dapperly.
It's two young men who come on every Thursday at 8 p.m. GMT time, because obviously we have people all over the world watch it. And we talk about metal detecting and beards and things in the hobby, but all the good things, not the bad things, like, that people
You got to mention well produced and professional.
And very well produced and professionally done by Mr. David Sadler, who runs the show, and I'm just a co-host who came on once.
I don't run the show. I drive the show for everybody else.
Yes, and
it's the viewers' show, not our show.
Yeah, and it's fed from content that people message us about and things like that. And we try and have a bit of fun and a bit of laugh. Some of it's a bit inappropriate, but yeah.
Most
and we have
of it
people
a bit inappropriate.
Yeah, definitely. But we've got some things to give away tonight as well for those viewers who regularly watch, because we did some prizes in the past, didn't we, David? And
yes.
Some of them didn't reply, and then some did like a month later and then kicked off because they didn't have it, and then never watched the show. They just signed up. So we're doing it different tonight. So those who, and if you go to the bigdetectingshow.com, you can sign up there where we'll have future events. And we'll also send you a newsletter with discounts for suppliers. Some of them are higher, aren't they, David?
Higher than your average one that you would see normally. With delightful people at the certain companies have give us a thank you and done that for us. So yes, so go along there, subscribe to the newsletter. We don't bombard you. In fact, we haven't sent one for about 3 months because we haven't had any need. But we will be sending one shortly because we've got a host of guests lined up in the near future, haven't we?
Yes.
Well,
yes,
you don't know. Yeah, well, yeah, we have, Adrian. I forgot to tell you.
I just know that you're good at doing that. And we have Mr. Julian Evan Hart coming on shortly as well to talk to us about everything metal detection.
The technical genius, Mr. Evan Hart.
Yes, 50 years detecting. So he's got a lot of stories. So anyone who's got any questions, think about them. And what's that? Hi, Dad.
That's Mason. That's my son.
Hi, Mason. Right. Okay. My son's in the pub. I don't know. I hope he's not watching.
My son's 10, so if he was in the pub, I would be a little bit. But talking of pubs, Adrian, I've not actually told you this, I don't think. So, I used to run the group Tempest Archaeology and Metal Detecting. Sorry, I was member of the group and I was loosely the chairman for Tempest Archaeology and Metal Detecting. So we've been talking between former members, or not so much former. It sort of lapsed into doing nothing because of COVID. So we've sort of redone everything, sort of formatted it, and we will be starting having meetings again in about I think a week on Monday, monthly meeting.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm quite excited about that because it's also the pub at like 2 minutes from my house. Yeah.
Like I've got one 2 minutes from my house. I've got a brewery 2 minutes from my house, and it's ridiculously dangerous. Just go
Mine's
for one.
Ridiculously cheap. I'll be there all Saturday afternoon watching the Grand National.
Oh yes, Grand National. Oh. I'm going detecting Saturday. What time's Grand National?
I'm going 4 or 5. Yeah, I'm going detecting tomorrow because I've got numerous medical appointments tomorrow. So. Me and the boy, Holcroft, are off on little metal detecting jaunt tomorrow afternoon.
With your new Equinox 800.
With the Equinox, which I've only been out with once. This will be the second time. Adrian loved it. Got it all set up to mimic the Vanquish in its mannerisms and such like. And honest to God, the first field we went in, there was 5 of us. 5 of us. 1 with a Manticore, 4 with Nox 800s, and we really couldn't detect the field because there was that much interference. We even put it on single frequency. We were all scattered all over the place, far from each other. Single frequency, done everything you possibly could, and it was just the interference was ridiculous. So we basically had to leave it. The field wasn't great anyway, but we had to leave it. As soon as you got away from there, it was mint.
Well, I did I tell you who came detecting with me last Friday?
Was it the actor Shane? I can't think of anybody. I've gone blank. I don't even.
It wasn't Tom Baker.
Was it Shane Maguire out of Shameless?
No, close.
All right.
It was a young man.
Oh, was it Julian?
No.
Oh.
This is quite scary. It's Boy Wonder, my son, came detecting with me. He did. I gave him the Deus 2 and I said, there you go, MI6 pinpointer wireless and all that. I said, XY, no, did I give, no, I turned the XY screen off, standard settings, general program. I said, this is how you do it, this is what you do. I thought, wait for it, it's ruining my day, it's going to be non-stop.
Adrian, watch this. Oh, he's put it back. It was a picture of his groin.
Oh, right.
Sorry, go. Hello, Julian. Let him just finish this. You had a picture of your groin, and I had to put you on screen, but I just missed it.
Sorry. So my son came out detecting with me, and he had the Deus 2, and he absolutely picked it up within half an hour, and he was off digging everything. And he dug one bit of iron, which was a nail, and everything else, and he brought out some nice little bits and coins and stuff. And I'm a little bit, and I took alcohol with me, so we had a beer. But he said, Dad, those who are watching, he's only 19, so it's not cool, it's not trendy, and he's a bit of a, we come from Essex, so, and he absolutely loved it, and he wants to come again and again and again.
He's also coming to the Rodney Cup Memorial, so we can all get drunk together.
Yeah, there is that, but it just goes to show the hobby. Someone who thinks, it's not like fishing where you got to get, you tackle out and hey, good job we haven't got a fishing show. That would come up quite a lot, tackle, and he absolutely loved it. And we were out there for about 5 or 6 hours. And talking about interference, I had the Manticore, and I was running it multi-frequency and single frequency, and it didn't affect the Deus at all. Really close together, so it was quite interesting. But yes, sorry, Jules, welcome.
Just want to say, gentlemen, congratulations on your 150th episode. It's marvellous, and I probably speak for the whole hobby in saying, thank you for your contribution. It's a great show, and it's just everything good. So, summing it up like that. No,
I appreciate that. I really do. Coming from you, that means a lot, Julian. You know how much I respect and
bless you. Yeah, great team.
And thank you for coming on the show tonight. It's great having you on. Honor having you on as ever. And it's I know there's a lot of people tuning in because you're on the show tonight. There's a lot of people joined the Facebook group. Again, welcome to all the new thingies. Just got to go back up to a comment from Anne Sherwin. Ange, I invited you to the group, so you will be at the meeting. I'll let you know what date it is anyway. So thanks for that. So yeah, Julian, it's a pleasure having you on. You've got an immense amount of respect, not just throughout the metal detecting hobby, but aviation archaeology itself, media. You've wrote multiple tomes. And it's been a long, varied, up and down, windy road that you've been on in metal detecting.
Yeah, 1972 it was. So it's probably when I first got a C-scope or something. I can't remember. Too fuzzy memory going back half a century. But and then I sort of begged, borrowed, and used some for about a decade. Couldn't afford my own, and then finally got one. And I just knew it was something I've always wanted to do. I think the first recollection I have must be well early 70s, if not 1970. I see a guy out in the field with a detector sort of thing, and I sort of lurked in the hedges watching him, and got my mates, and we were watching. We went over, and he had a couple of gold sovereigns and some grotty coppers, and I just thought, I so want to do that. Looking back now, I can't believe where the time's gone. But they say, you know, time flies when you're enjoying yourself. And what a hobby, eh? You can not enjoy yourself in this hobby. It's marvellous.
I mean, I think we might have some new people in the chat tonight, and we've also got someone in America I saw and other areas. For those who don't know you, Jules, did you just want to quickly give us a quick spiel about? We know you've been in the hobby 50 years, but
I'm only going full screen because we're being asked about the colour of your jumper, so I want people to see the actual colour of your jumper.
Mustard, I think. I'm not sure. Sort of, you know, or viral illness colour.
Nappies. Yeah. No. So obviously you're editor of Treasure Hunting magazine now, Britain's, well, it could be the world's biggest selling metal detecting magazine.
I think it probably is, to be fair.
Yeah, I think it actually is, because it is sold all over the world. But apart from being the editor of that, Jules, which everyone loves, and I love it, working with you on it and stuff, what have you done in the last sort of 20 years? Because if we go back to 30, because you've written lots of books, haven't you? Which are on Amazon.
I've lost count now, and it sounds really rare, doesn't it? But it's, again, bad memory again. I think I'm on 35 published books now, including ones I've contributed to or written chapters for. Got another one coming out in November this year about giving credit to metal detectorists for finding militaria on battlefields all the way across the world. That should be coming out. I'm co-authoring that with another gentleman, and it's going to be a good book. I got the proof to read through today, and that's coming out in November. And then I think before that, all things being well, I tried it a few times, but I actually managed to crack my autobiography, metal detecting only, going back, explaining why I am the person I am. And it's something I've always wanted to do. Amazing, because when you embark on that journey, you'd be surprised what you remember. And I'd say, even if you're not going to get it published, everyone do it. Your earliest memory, interesting, witty things, funny things, and stuff you did, because it's a great thing to leave behind for your family in the future, whether it's published or not. But hopefully, I'm going to launch that autobiography at Rodney Cook. So all things being well.
This year's Rodney Cook?
I believe so. Obviously,
and the following week, you can come on the Big Detecting Show and release it a little bit more.
I'd absolutely love to. Be another honour again. But things apart from books, God, I've been over to Jordan, detecting the deserts, looking for remains of Lawrence of Arabia, or archaeological remains. I did the first world's excavation on a Zeppelin crash site. The hobby has been really good to me. I seem to have been fortunate at the right place at the right time and get invited to go to, that was an invite by the Jordanian royal family. Absolutely marvellous. And there were other people obviously involved with that. And it's just, standing in a Suffolk field, digging a Zeppelin up, and then I went over to France and helped out a gentleman called Simon Parry excavate the last dam buster Lancaster. And bless him, we had Johnny Johnson attend there. And I think one of my greatest things in my collection now is a little bit of plexiglass, which formed the front of the Lancaster that Johnny looked through when he dropped the bomb on the Zorpa Dam. It's a little bit of plastic. Johnny autographed it for me, and I just think,
wow,
to hold such an artifact is absolutely amazing, because when you think about it, we find lots of things, but we run out of time every year to be able to return those to their owners. Obviously, a fibula brooch or a coin, a Roman coin, we can't do that. But in the last, I think, 2 years, I've been involved in metal detecting at a local farm here, which is on the edge of a wartime airbase. And we found 8 dog tags and got 6 of them back to the families. I was going to say children, but they're 81 years old now, the children. But the photographs that they send back, all, of course, unpublished. One guy I found, whose dog tag I sent back was radio operator on the airbase. And his son, who's 80, said, "Would you like to see a picture of Dad operating the radio at the airbase?" And you think, when you look at this, you think, I was 20 foot away from the gentleman who found the dog tag which was right near where the radio room was. And here is some, I can look in that room. It's been long demolished now. I can actually look in that radio room with an 80-year-old photograph. And there's a dog tag just been returned in the last week as well by Bartek, who found it on one of Cheryl Dawes' digs. And I helped Bartek along with a couple of my colleagues in Germany and America. And we've just got that back to a gentleman's family. He survived the war. I'm not sure when he passed. I haven't got that information yet. But, it's an amazing thing to do. And for our critics, I would say, and we do have critics out there, if you're going to criticise the hobby for whatever, I mean, there doesn't seem to be a hobby that, like metal detecting, anything bad, we are our worst own enemies. We will post up everything bad about the hobby negative. No other hobby will do this. Fishermen won't say, 4 blokes were caught fishing on the reservoir last night, 1,000 quid's worth of salmon gone.
No, true.
But we always self-scourge ourselves. And I don't know quite where that's born from. We all do it. And I'm not sure. I don't know whether it's an old thing of we've got to keep people happy and show that, we disagree with this. Well, without even posting a post like that on Facebook, it's wrong. So people should just know we disagree with that. Every hobby has a bad element in it, but they don't go self-publicising it as much as we seem to do.
No.
That's me. But I seem to have digressed there and probably lost my train of conversation somewhat.
Just going back.
We only asked how old you were.
Yeah. Or what colour your top was. Jules, just going back to plane crash sites. Those who are in the hobby and do suddenly start detecting bits of aluminium in a field and then suddenly find bits and think, this is part of an aircraft. There's quite important advice relating to that, isn't there? Which I think if you want to explain.
Yeah, there is. It's a bit of a grey area. Law under the 1968 Protection of Military Remains Act. It's illegal to disturb without proper authentic licensing from the MOD a Second World War crash site and in the years beyond the Second World War. Now, the problem is with this is that the farmers plough their fields every year. Now, does the law encompass that? No, I don't think it does. Now, the way the law encompasses it is if you go to deliberately find a Lancaster bomber without authentication, you are breaking the law. Should you find that bomber accidentally, that's the grey area. You are still technically breaking the law, but you're not. You could argue the case, well, I'm not interested in the Lancaster, there's a Roman villa here too, and I'm after coins. The law is a bit fuzzy that. It is being readdressed at the moment by a couple of my friends because we've highlighted these things. Technically, if you stumble across a Lancaster crash site and dig bits up, yes, you are breaking the law. But I actually think that this is one of the rare cases where ignorance can be defended. If you're not looking for a Lancaster and just accidentally find it, if you set your ploughs too deep and uncover a Second World War air crash, the law, it's one of those laws that was rushed through quite fast. After nearly 40 years, it needs some serious modifications to it. But it is all too easy to fall foul. Without being a Facebook policeman, I do see a lot of posts of bullets and various other bits and twisted airframe put up on Facebook. Oh, we went to do a Lancaster crash today. Probably not the best thing to make public, probably not the best thing to do. There are mechanisms for if you discover there's a Lancaster there and you are interested in it, then I would strongly advise, and so in fact there is no other option, get yourself a license from the MOD and the relevant parties, and get it all signed out, and then you can go there and excavate if you wish with landowner's permission and do. But it's essential, that these things, they are, in 2,000 years' time, they are going to be the Roman villas of modern history now. So
it's interesting you say that, Julian, because 20 years ago, me and a former friend and colleague, we were detecting on Mark Colley, who's been on the site on numerous occasions. We were detecting on his site as part of the survey that we were doing. And we were asked by the next field owner if we want to go on there. And we went on there and we were digging up rivets. Now, I'm an aircraft fitter by trade. I'm like, why is there aircraft rivets everywhere? Carried on detecting. He pulled up a part of the onboard radio system, communications system. I wasn't aware of any of this back then, and we didn't because it was strewn with rivets and such like, we stopped because we weren't legitimately looking for that. It was nothing to do with it. We were looking for the archaeology of the site. So we stopped because it was obviously something had gone on. Somebody looked into it and found out it was a down B-52 or something like that. But we didn't know, and people don't know that because the relevant metal detecting organizations of consequence aren't making that public enough, in my opinion. They should be making people more aware of things like that. And it's likes of yourself who do are very involved in aircraft archaeology, metal detecting aircraft sites and such like, and I've been in the past. It's only the likes of you who are making them aware. How many people who are watching the show tonight will totally agree with what I've just said and say, I had no idea?
Yeah, I don't think people do. But as I say, you know, some of my colleagues are addressing the current Protection of Military Remains Act because it is in need of revision. It is slightly outdated, and it doesn't encompass for the increase in popularity of metal detecting. So therefore, logically, more crash sites. And bear in mind, some of these crash sites are unrecorded because they were non-operational. So if you were doing a shuttle flight between two airfields, Tom and Dick and Harry, who were playing the field, might know about it, and it would have a crash record somewhere, but sometimes might be even unrecorded. So it is possible to find an aircraft where obviously everyone in the locality is now deceased, and it's difficult to find records. Obviously, you can use things like, if it's armed, bullet head stamps can give you a date. If you work out the consumption of ammunition in certain periods, certain years, you can get a year, but it's a lot of research just if you're basing it just on a piece of scrap metal. I'll say, that's being researched.
Jules, does this law relate to only the Second World War crash sites or any crash site?
I've never done anything. It's just me. I only ever dig up anything from 1939 to 45. I won't even go as far as the period of war. I stop in May 45, and I won't even extend my digs to September August when the Japanese surrendered. To me, I only do European warspan. To be honest, I'm not actually sure because I've never dug a jet apart from some German jets, wartime jets out in Germany. I've never dug anything modern, but it's called, and I've read the act so far as it applies to me, but it's called the Protection of Military Remains Act. So yeah, if you had a warthog crash in your backfield, they probably would get narky if you extracted the 25-foot-long gun barrel.
Yeah. No, the reason I ask is one of my missions has got de Havilland Venom, is it? That crashed in 1954. It was a test run de Havilland did, and the pilot hit the ground at 600 mile an hour, and there's aluminium everywhere, and it's still there
I think
on the surface.
With something like that, there is a particular branch of Ministry of Defence. You could just lob a phone call in and say, look, is this encompassed by the Act? If it's a civilian airliner, probably not. Unless it was on a military exercise. But yeah, I genuinely don't know that because I'm not interested and I've never dug. But for anyone who has got a modern jet, it would probably be worthwhile checking that.
I to be honest, I knew straight away because it was constant detector was just like and it was just loads of bits of aluminium. And then I think, this is just green waste. And then I thought, no, it isn't. And then when I got home, I Googled it and found out some poor guy, Edward Beadle, I think it was.
As Will Waste just said in the chat, it's a nightmare amount of shrapnel on a site with an aircraft generally. It's,
without doubt. If you're not interested in it, it will write off a Roman villa. In fact, I've got one site where just a P-51 Mustang hit the field, but it's written off this villa. You've got to be well dedicated to get those Roman coins out because it spread. I think it was 3/4 of a mile, and that's a tiny aeroplane, but it just disintegrated into dust almost, apart from the engine. But so if you're not interested in aircraft, they can be a bit of a blight.
One of my favourite books that I've got, and I use it all the time, it's a lot of local stuff, is Air Crashes of the White Peak. I can't remember the author. It was a lady, I think. Absolutely love that book. Adrian, we have said that we will give out some spot prizes tonight to people watching the show. Now you've got a question lined up. I don't know how we want to give the. Well, I think the best in this case, if the question is the one you said at the start of the show, the prize should reflect the question.
Yes. Okay.
So off you go. And it's the first. This question, as it's Adrian, it's the first one that Adrian sees. The first answer that Adrian sees is the winner.
Can you bear with me because I've completely forgotten we're giving talk among yourselves because I need to make sure the question is I'll tell you what it's for. It's for this Mind Lab. Yeah, is that all right?
Oh, right.
I'm not going to. It's not that other one.
Right.
But I wrote a review about this in Treasure Hunting magazine, and I don't know where it is. Oh, I make something up. Right, this is the Mind Lab spade, a little one, new one. There's a lot of cheap ones like this out there, but one thing I would say is it's got the branding on. It's really light and it's strong, and it's a lovely little spade. If you'd like this spade, it's always good to have a backup in your car, and this doesn't take up any space at all. So if you've got a Mind Lab machine and you would like this spade, what did Dave... Has it got to be relating to the spade, Dave?
No, not at all.
Digging tool. Oh, right. What was Dave's favourite drink at Detectable last summer? We have mentioned it in the show. So the first person to say that...
that's the sign that went with it.
Yeah. No, it wasn't Philip Wills.
No,
he didn't get it. Oh,
Philip Wills got it wrong.
No, it wasn't. Tony K Woods won it.
Tony K Woods won it.
Well done, Tony. I don't have to post it now. I can leave that and put it on eBay. No, well done, Tony. So you've won the Mind Lab performance is everything, and you will really like it because it's very light. It's light.
Can I just stop there and say Tony K Wood always complains he never wins a thing.
There you go, Tony. Well done. I'm pleased.
Well done, Tony.
He's one of our admins, so that's. Is he? Is he an admin?
He's always one of the admins on ArkMD Mag, yeah.
Oh, ArkMD Mag, yeah. Not the.
In fact, thank you. Yeah, Tony, well done. And
play again.
And there's your bloopers.
Play again. Go on.
Should I do the other one?
Yeah. I like that. West Ham support. He's like, come on in. He gets that.
You want
yeah,
some?
Tony,
you want some?
I've got your address, Tony. So no, I haven't. Or have I? No, I don't think I have. So if you could message me or fax me, Tony, because I know you still use fax, I will send that off to you this Saturday.
Yes, Jonathan O'Brien. There are multiple chats, sadly. They all come into the right-hand side of the screen. We've got 2 YouTube channels that the show streams to. And it's not just a big detecting show. We share it to multiple groups, which may I also thank all of them group owners as well for allowing us to share to them groups. It's very much appreciated. And if you do feel like, please share the show. Please invite your friends to like the Big Detecting Show Facebook group. There's always stuff going on in there. You can share your finds. You can have a conversation. Julian pops in every now and again and puts something on, which is always nice, obviously. And there you go. Never see it come up. Never see what come up.
Tony come up.
Ah, right.
And Paul B said that the spade will stop Tony falling over because he can probably use it as a walking stick now because he is 67, I think, Tony. He's good for his age. 67, yeah. Yeah, 67. So hopefully that will help him in the field.
He is one of the oldest YouTubers in the hobby at 67 as well.
Yes, he is. And I think with all the problems he's had in the past, he's done very well getting to where he has. And
Thank
he
you,
might-
Cheryl. I think I already did. I think I did. I can't
hi,
remember.
Cheryl.
I was
Hello,
rushing
Cheryl.
through. I was rushing through the adverts tonight because I got sort of sidetracked with our who's in Gareth's parents' loft and whatnot.
Is that due? That's due.
In
a
fact,
minute.
spot prize tonight. One of the prizes can be for whoever gets who's in Gareth's parents' loft. In fact, shall we do it
What
now,
is
Adrian?
it? What is the prize?
Um,
A bag?
No. John Nicholson at CoinPod. He's kindly donated a selection of prizes from CoinPod, which are, Adrian,
Fines bag.
Fines
A really
bag.
not. I can show you a picture of it if you want.
Yeah, you go for it.
No, I can't. Well, I can. Yeah, CoinPod. My favourite coin collecting pouch. Organised. I don't know. I can't be bothered. It's a really nice fines pouch. It's about that big. Just there. Daughter after a laptop.
Hi, daughter.
You're right. Bye. It's a lovely fines pouch, and it's got a name, but it's really good. And it comes with a water bottle and all that. And Dave's probably getting a picture up now. It's
on my
our
phone,
Facebook.
just to remind me. There's a great fines bag, a squirty bottle, and an actual coin pod itself, which are tremendous.
Jules, just say, I don't know if you've seen this, but Gareth Howard has been watching us for a long time, and he mentioned a comment about some artistic magazines he keeps in his parents' loft, and when he has any relationship issues with his partner at the time, he goes around his parents and he goes up into their loft, looking back at his art magazines for pleasure. So we thought each week on the show it'd be good to have a guest who's in Gareth's mum and dad's loft with Gareth, maybe. We've had Gary Cook up there. He wouldn't come down, would he, Dave? Gary? We had a lot of trouble getting Gary down. And
Adrian wasn't really a brewery last week. He was actually up the loft.
Yes, I was. And Gary, we've been asked, there's some magazines missing. So, Gary, if you could hand them back.
Cookie. He said, potentially, you were wearing your thong. Can you put them out of your thong and bring them back?
Yeah, yeah.
So without further ado,
yes,
who is in Gareth's parents' loft? Well, it is a he.
A lovely man.
I've got to check. I've got to keep me eye on the chat room now, haven't he? He is a he. Julian has chosen tonight's person who is currently residing in Gareth's parents' loft. He is a he. He is reasonably well known in the metal detecting community. It's not me, obviously. I'm sat
in a good
here.
way.
In a good way. He is a absolutely lovely bloke. No, it's not Steve Newman. Somebody straight away put Steve. He's actually in the chat room tonight. He's actually watching the show. And
we have a winner.
We have a winner. David Evans is the winner. It was. Where's the picture? Where have I put the picture? It was this gentleman. Where's the picture? Right, hold on. It was. Share my screen. I forgot to do this. Set it up. Screen's being shared. It was this young gentleman. It was Phil Fodder. Fodderina. Look at his titties. So congratulations, David Evans. If you could send me a message via editor@arkmdmag.com. And I'm only saying that, Adrian, because I can't get Big Detective Show one coming up on my phone anymore. Or obviously inbox me directly on Facebook and we will get that out to you. We will get that sent over to John. Thanks again to John Nicholson at CoinPod for providing that prize tonight. Can't speak more highly of his products, the CoinPod.
Hang on.
Absolutely, mine's that dirty, it's phenomenal.
apparently Fodder has taken a cordless drill up in the loft, and he's
spying on his mum.
he's-
Spying on his mum.
no, he's drilled the loft hatch in with screws, and oh dear, and he's drilling a hole into Gareth's mum's bedroom through the ceiling, a small, like 5 mil hole.
Surprising.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Gareth, about this. We'll just tell him to come down. I knew this would happen. Sorry, mate. I knew this would happen. Letting him up there. He's just been a menace. I know what he's doing. He's going to go up there and he's going to ask for money for Rodney Cook. And he's going because he does a lot of fundraising, among others, but Fodder Phil dressing up as a fortune teller, and this year's Rodney Cook, I cannot wait for. I know what you're doing, Fodder, this year, and I haven't told anyone. And I can honestly say, I would actually pay to go to this year's Rodney Cook just to follow you around, or you two around, because it is going to be absolutely hilarious at this year's Rodney Cook. And you have raised a lot of money along with your fellow guys. And it is, Jules,
Dig Life UK, give his group a mention. Dig Life
UK
on there on Facebook.
And I'm so pleased tonight, Jules. You said Fodder, because
I'll tell you, I'm just not buying in. What a cracking fellow! Again, I've probably known 4 or 5 years, but he's one of them lifers. You just know when you bump in his hobby. His hobby is so good like that. It provides so many. But a lovely fellow, heart in the right place, do anything for anybody, and charity raising for the Rodney Cook. So, Phil, well done, mate. I'll catch up with you at Rodney Cook and we'll have a couple of beers, son. Definitely.
I don't think he drinks.
Phil doesn't drink, and when he does, the reason he doesn't drink,
I shouldn't either, but hey-oh.
It was because of the white lightning incident.
Yes. Moving on. Yes. But no, that's very nice. Jules, this year, you didn't go to Spring Detect, or I didn't go because things were going on and we all had stuff to do. Will you be going to other rallies this year?
Yeah, gosh, I've this year's a real booster. As a matter of fact, I've been invited all over the place, which is lovely of everybody. I'm hoping to go. I'm going to an LGD dig on the 22nd at Sudbury. Me and Lisa are going. Then I'm doing the Suffolk Sandlands tours in June and September, and then I'm obviously doing the Rodney Cook. Goes without saying. And anything else I can cram in, really, I just absolutely love it. But for me, the Rodney Cook is the annual event. But
and if there are any rally organisers out there watching the show tonight or in the future, if you do want Julian, myself, or Adrian or Luke to come along to any of your events, I mean,
I'm sure.
I mean, for myself, I've got loads of back issues of the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine, which are free to give away. Bring them down, sort anything out for you, come down. And I don't mean we won't pay. That goes without saying. It's nothing like that. But if you want us to come down, we can try and sort out someone to come to one of the events with some of the magazines to give away to the people who are there. And I'm sure there's the same goes to. I mean, I know yourself, Julian, you love going, meeting people, and you do a hell of a lot of photography at all these events, which is, again, second to none.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it is the social side. When I first started this hobby, there was no organised digs or rallies. The last rally sort of thing in my lifetime I did in history is probably Nuremberg. But now they're absolutely endemic. And I will say at this stage, they're I typically digress all the time, put it down to an age thing, but paid or organised digs these days, I think, are a lifeblood. £20 a day, even up to sort of £35 a day, can be a lot of money for some people. But if you're going to argue the point for a hobby, take your children to Legoland, and that will show you a day that will thin your wallet slightly. For £20,
and your mind.
Marvelous hobby that if people can organise to give people land to detect on, that they otherwise their hobby is nothing, basically. You know, I know a lot of people who circuit around all the digs all over UK and thoroughly enjoy it. So hats off to the organisers of these events, because I do know how hard they work behind to provide for the hobby, and they do. You know, I couldn't sing their praises enough.
I agree.
You know, I just think it's an absolutely fantastic aspect, and that engenders the social side of things. You know, where you can get a couple of hundred people together, or less, or more, with the big events. What a lovely atmosphere it is. You know, to have all these people like-minded. You know, you can talk to somebody. You know, you can't go down to your local pub and say, "Oh, I love finding fibula brooches." You know, I've got a couple of cracking ones of good enamel. 99% of the clientele there would turn around and look at you and say, well, you were a regular, mate. You know, you're a bit weird. But we're on home ground at rallies and organised digs. So to all of you involved out there, big thank you from me. And I know I speak for the hobby.
I can't agree with some of them. There's a lot of people out there making money claiming charities. The other side of it, I totally agree with you. You know, the people about, but I have my issues. There's several cropped up around here lately, and I'm going to end up slapping somebody and they know it.
Yeah, you're going to get that, Dave, and it doesn't mean we have to accept it. Of course, there's always going to be a bad element. Things. The word charity is bandied around a lot in the hobby, and 99% of it, I'm convinced, is sound ground. 25 years ago, there were a lot more bad organised digs and dodgy sort of organised digs, but they've been ironed out with social media. Because if you organise a bad dig, your name is muck, and social media will ruin you.
Well, I think we've seen that, haven't we?
Yeah.
But just going back to that, it's interesting because Jonathan O'Brien, he says, I'm stuck for permission, so rely on digs to get out and practice the hobby. Yeah, if you're new and you buy them, and we all know loads of people, and I get people message me every week, you know, even close friends.
Cheryl Dawes, she said, "We're welcome to come to our events." Me and Adrian, you were invited us, and when we promised to come, I've got to get May out of the way. As soon as May's out of the way, I can start looking at things. And I promised I'll come to Adrian and to yourself, and and you've got to keep your promise that I'm allowed in a field on my own for an hour.
Yeah,
because of your stuff.
Me and Lisa will come and see you too, Cheryl. Be an absolute pleasure.
Stephen Law, Stephen, you've put £10 for our digs, and you can loan the equipment for free.
That's nice.
Stephen, I've no idea what your group or organisation is. If you could let us know. Oh, UK Metal Detecting Days, which is relatively new. So, and before we go any further, Adrian and Julian, you can go and have a little wee, because we've got a short video to play, which is about a metal detecting rally last weekend. We had Cheryl Dawes on last week, and the team from the Ministry of Detect who organised the dig in Anglesey, which looked a blast. So we've got a video which Cheryl's put together. You can find her full video of the weekend at Chrissy Detects on YouTube. And I'm reliably informed that they've raised well over £1,000 for charity last weekend. So congratulations to the MOD for that. And they were close to an MOD base as well at RAF.
Can I just say apologies for laughing whilst Jules was talking? I wasn't laughing at Jules. It's the comments in the chat about Gareth Howard saying that it's not the first time someone's tried to lock themselves in his loft, and also his mum thought. Just his comments just make me laugh, so I do apologise. I wasn't laughing.
And we also apologise to Gareth's mum and dad.
Yeah, for fodder up in their loft, drilling holes. Glory.
So it's a 3-minute video. Go and get yourselves a drink top up or have a poo if you can do one quick. And we'll have a look at last weekend's Ministry of Detect dig in Anglesey. And congratulations again in raising over £1,000 for charity.
Absolutely.
Just a normal day at Ministry of Detect, it is.
Just waiting for everyone to arrive now. Yay! he's slightly inebriated. Is our toasty man? Oh, where's he going? Look at him, he can't even stand still. Stand to attention!
Elizabeth the first hammered.
You check me, son?
Yesterday, go down to the big, right down to the very end, and you'll see on the right there's field 1. You can do that. And the same on the left-hand side, field 2. It says Saturday field. You're welcome to go in there as well.
Mal!
Hiya, you alright? How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Let's have a look at what you've got on here today.
No problem.
I have to say, I've had a spade from Malk, and it's wonderful. Good, solid, strong made spade. David, what have you found? Eh?
1817. Yeah, I like it.
What you...
That was lovely. Do you know what? That encompassed everything British about metal detecting. Someone had what looked like a Sunday roast, which is
Bacon.
Bacon. Brucey bonus. Someone
Man in a dressing gown.
Man in a dressing gown. That's right. It was like a generation game. Oh, we could have that conveyor belt. Man up to his waist in looked like a cesspit, not a swamp. No, lovely video. Well done, Chrissy, and well done on raising nearly 1,000.
Yeah, well done, Chrissy.
Yeah, that is fantastic.
Brilliant. Absolutely, I enjoyed that video. Some great finds as well. And Anglesey, it's difficult to detect on Anglesey, I think, because there's swings and roundabouts when it comes to history. There's swaves of time that there was nobody really of consequence on the Isle. But it's obviously had Roman influence, it's had medieval influence, it's Viking, all sorts, Bronze Age. But it's the areas. And as I said last week on the show, I don't know if you've ever been to Anglesey both. It's very, very rocky terrain, as you saw the rocky outcrops in that. So the bedrock's actually a lot closer to the surface than probably many other places in the UK, especially in that area of Anglesey. But I absolutely love the place. So, yeah, great video. Thanks, Chrissy Detects. You can pop over to YouTube and we live on the show last week, Adrian. We got to Chrissy above 1,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Oh,
so,
that's good. That's good. Good. Keep up.
I hope they continue to go. And again, thank you to the Ministry Detect for sending us that video on behalf of Chrissy, and great work that you've done there. Spot prize. I've got a bit of a bundle here. I'll do my one. A bit of a bundle. I showed Adrian last night, and he was like, "Oh, that's mint." That picture I sent you, and you cropped it, and it was all lovely.
Oh yeah. Oh.
So I'll. There's something else that I'm going to include as well. Basically, the question for this one, spot prize. So it's basically a big detecting show bundle. What was the name of the new parody machine circulating on Facebook yesterday and today? The parody machine on Facebook.
So he means like mocking a manufacturer of machines. So
It's not a real machine, but Shane thought it was and said it looks like it's for kids. I went, Shane, shut up.
oh.
Derek Gibbon, straight in with it.
Well done, Derek. Oh, that's good.
Nice
Well
one,
done,
Derek.
Nice one, Derek. Derek,
Yes.
drop me your address and we'll sort that out. No problem.
Someone
It
was
was
mocking
the Garrett Acicor.
Someone, was mocking it. There's some more new machines coming out soon. I won't say what manufacturers, but some which might surprise a few. I heard this week. I won't say anything, but there's going to be some new machines coming out, which is quite exciting from manufacturers you probably wouldn't have expected, which will be quite good. And then we had Dilek from Nocta this week announcing or today. Well, I spoke to her on Tuesday. No, I didn't. Thursday. I don't know what day it was. And she was talking about the Legend is going to be coming out of a graphite shaft at the top. Shaft, got it in. And also a new arm cuff and a bigger coil, elliptical coil.
Adrian.
Yes?
Dave Evans won the second prize. He guessed fodder. What did he win?
He won the fines bag.
He did.
And
yeah. Sorry, apologies, couldn't remember.
And we're also going to give away 12 months subscription to Treasure Hunting magazine, which
Julian needs to set the question to.
We did have one before the show. I thought of one, but I
thought you'd lost the magazine. That's why you.
No, I never lose that. No, look at that picture. That's fantastic, Days. Jules, could you tell us a bit about that and detecting at Fort Charlotte?
Yeah, that was a really. I was contacted by a gentleman who I can't describe any more than quite a worldwide explorer. He just goes off and investigates these things. And so obviously I Googled him and found out. And he said, would you like me to write some articles for your magazine? And I thought, you know what, since I've been editor 8 years now, I've tried to sort of diversify further across the world, obviously to increase the reach, broadcast the hobby. And so we get articles in from far Eastern Europe, Japan, we've even had one from, but this guy, just brilliant. And I thought, a Georgian period fort out in the Americas. Oh, yes. And there's more in the pipeline. And we've got another guy, Ed Thibodeau. You might have seen his articles recently. Again,
Adrian can't say that way.
No, I can't see it.
I hope I got his surname right. But he found a Massachusetts sixpence. And he does mud banks along the sort of in Canada and Northern America. And I just think, these guys, they're all out there. We're all brothers and sisters like that. So now the mag has gone absolutely mental with its sort of geography where we cover now. I mean, it's still mainly UK, but I think it's great to have these variations. And, this guy can really write. He's got a passion for the hobby. So country boundaries are just nothing. Can
I have his offcasts?
It's interesting though, Jules. You say the magazine, as well as I do, in lockdown, sales went through the roof. And with social media like it is, someone digs up a Noble and it's on Facebook, and then the next thing you know, everyone in the world knows about it. But the magazine still manages to pick finds that, every month I pick it up and read it, and I think I don't go on the Book of Faces much at all, unless I'm drunk and someone's messaged me. But what I mean, people can email you, Julian, Treasure Hunting magazine.
But we welcome anything, and we publish 99.999, God knows how many nines, of all submissions. You might have to wait a little while, but if you can take the time to jot something down, and I'll always guide you and help you out. My aim is to get people published.
Julian, I
And
just
will-
thought to myself then I was going to ask you for the 0.1%, then realised I know who the 0.1% is. So
Yes,
well, I'm not
we
going to
spoke
ask
about
that.
No.
Yeah, I see that as my job, to help people and get them published. It doesn't matter your standard of English, your spelling, that's all done on the computer will sort that out for me. And my grammar's not brilliant, as many of you will well know. I'll use 50 words where 2 will do because I love words and I love descriptiveness. But I am the editor at the end of the day. But no, we've had fabulous, and we've had children as young as I think 9 with parental permission writing about their first day out, granddad detecting finding Victorian pennies. And I just think that's absolutely marvellous, because if you encourage the children at that age that this, is a brilliant hobby, get involved with it. And I say I will support anyone who wants to write. We've got currently 6 different types of article to suit somebody who just wants to write 10 words to 200 words to 600 words to 1,000 words, 1,500, 2,000, 4,000, with photographs as well, of course. So there's something there for everyone. And what I do find is that the people who are a little bit tentatively nervous, I mean, I get loads of times, Jules, I haven't written bugger all since I was at school. Doesn't matter. If you've got the dedication to be out in all weathers, detecting like that, and doing your stuff, you can write about it. And if you can't write about it, that you feel, I'll help you all the way. I see that's my job. The old days of editors sitting on your backside waiting for the phone to ring have long gone, because I rely on people. I have to go fishing out on social media forums, looking for work, looking for people who can provide different photographs to what they put on social media, and where they won't write the full story in many cases on social media, but I managed to extract it from them. And that's great, because it serves as a record, and they can frame, do what they like. Social media is fabulous, but unless you find something absolutely hoard stunning, 2 months' time, that's gone. With a magazine, you have a hard copy of something that you can frame, keep, take to school, give to your family, and that's the marvelous thing. Books.
Mate,
magazines.
I've got articles that I've had published in different types of magazines in the 1990s, and I've still got them, and I still go back and them on that occasion.
Oh, metal detecting.
Adrian,
yeah,
we were supposed to now have a different segment, but I think we should delay it and get it next week, because I want to talk to Jules.
Yeah.
It's an honour, gentlemen.
I know what it is.
We're supposed to be our book wars now, first semi-final of book wars. We are going to delay that for a week, postpone it, and have that next week. And we've got to talk to Jules more.
Yeah.
Well, ask me any questions, and anyone who's messaging. If there's anything particular you'd like to know.
How big is your current coil? Oh, no. Stop a minute.
Yes, got a big coil.
No.
Yes, got a big coil.
Adrian, new segment.
Oh, yes.
We are bringing you a new segment tonight because we wanted to do it on the 150th episode with Jules.
This is going to be deep.
Deep penetration.
We won't
worrying title, gentlemen. No worry.
It's a title befitting of the Big Detecting Show.
It's on a par with Gareth's Loft. I hope Fodder's come down. But yes.
So how big is your current coil?
Right. I'll go for just the one. I'll go for just the one machine at the moment, and that would knock in at 15 inches.
15 inches. Oof. That would be deep penetration with a 15-incher, definitely.
Jules, how deep have you gone digging?
Well, this is going to, 48, 50 feet. Not with a standard conventional detector, I would add. That was to recover a Daimler-Benz engine from a Messerschmitt 109.
That is a bit deep.
That is a bit serious, isn't it? Right, let's talk about conventional machines. Probably about 17, 18 inches, I think, on a Lizzie first chilling.
Let's not talk about how deep I went the week before last. Did you see the picture, Adrian?
Yes, I did. Yes.
That was deep penetration.
You went deep. Jules, sorry,
How-
going back to
Oh, sorry.
going back to that engine that was at 45, 50 feet. Is that because of the speed it was going and the impact when it hit the ground?
It's everything. When you look at an air crash, it's like a vertical drop under full power. It depends on time of year. If it's winter and the ground is frozen solid, it depends on type of soil. If it's sand, you won't get much more than sort of 15 foot because it rebounds. If it's clay, it can go down 25, depending on size of aircraft and also shape of aircraft. If it goes incomplete, the ground penetration will be higher, depending. And if it's a vertical drop, if it loses a wing, it will flutter down and the impact won't be so great. But it's something you get to know as an aviation archaeologist. We'd even go back to 1941 weather reports, if we could get them for that day, and look at ground reports and anything like that, see if it was frosty or there'd been a snow. It can all impede or assist with ground penetration. So, lovely word that, isn't it? Yeah, so, old Jules has sort of digressed a bit here, but got
do you like it moist or dry? The soil, that is.
Don't you just hate that word? It reminds me of
what, dry?
Think of something decent, Jules. Victoria sponge is more moist. Well, yeah, you got to say it's got to be damp.
No. The question was moist or dry.
Moist, gentlemen.
So repeat after me, Julian. I like it moist.
This is going to go out on YouTube, isn't it?
Yeah, I like this moist.
Yeah, I'm going to find it blasted everywhere. I like it moist.
Yeah, Adrian, no one likes it dry.
Adrian, use this on the website.
Yeah,
yes,
yes. It's going to end up on some remote Danish porn website.
No, it's going to be next to the picture of Gareth Howard's mum's and dad's loft. But yeah,
big porn hub.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Well, we're going to ruin it.
I'm going to have to re-edit Gareth's mum's loft with a bit of
Well, I don't think we're going to be able to have another one because his brother's not out. His mum and dad won't let anyone around now. So, should we? What question-wise?
Deep penetration, man.
Yeah, fire anything, me, gentlemen. Anything, so long as it's moist.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, please fire your questions, be them for the deep penetration questions or any other questions for Julian.
Yes. Jules, what annoys you most in the hobby?
How's that deep penetration? There's no
it's a deep question. It's a deep.
But there was no filth in it, was there?
Well, he might answer.
That wasn't your normal bloody...
He might answer. He might say, men in mini skirts detecting in front of him.
Call yourself.
That's an interesting question. I don't really know.
Imbecile.
Yeah, I don't think anything does. So obviously, like I know I probably do the same as other people's. You can see a comment on social media and think, but social media hasn't got the tenses. So somebody can be saying something quite innocently and you can take it, back over the mark there, mate. I really don't know.
Well, Philip Wills in the chat has said people come up and bothering you, but I know, Jules, you'll talk to anyone, so that doesn't bother you.
Yeah, that's the trouble with me. People will get bombarded. I will go up to people in the past who were walking by casually with their dogs and sort of strongly hint that, metal detectors had a few good finds today, and then the conversation's broached. But that's quite good when you interact like that because you can often get new permissions out of it, particularly talking to local people. Oh, I've got a big back garden and I know the bloke who owns the farm over the road. Marvellous network.
What you're doing is telling me to stop telling people to fuck off bothering me. Is that what you're saying?
Do you know what? There was an interesting thing about that. I remember 35 years ago, 40 years ago, maybe, there was a dad standing on the side of a field, and his little boy had obviously said, "Oh, look, what's going on out there?" Anyway, so his dad stood by the side of the field, and this young lad, he must have been about 8, came over and goes, "Oh, my dad and me would like to know what you're doing." So I had a little chat with him, explained it to the thing, and I said, "Tell you what, here you go, have a Georgian penny." 30 years later, I met a geezer who was 6'2" out in the field, and he looked at me and he said, "You don't remember me, do you?" And I thought, well, met a few people in my life, probably not. And he goes, "You're the geezer who gave me that Georgian penny 35 odd years ago or whatever." And he was detecting. And I thought, do you know, that literally, to coin a rubbish phrase, was worth every penny. Because
an article
we
in
ended
that.
up as best mates. We ended up as best mates, and still
That's a
are.
lovely story.
Can I have the article for? Can I have the article for RKMD Mag about that? Please?
Yeah, right. Written by Jules.
We've got
Jules,
a few questions. Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
No, go on, Dave.
All right. Oh, sorry. So Shane, Staffordshire Searcher, YouTube.
Yeah.
Hi, Shane. Our field tester. He says, "What is your best and favourite find?"
Oh. Wow, that's Shane. You've asked probably the hard one. I know I always put my gold stater out and about, but actually, I love the Romans, I love the Celts, but I'm really into aircraft. So my best find would probably be this, which is a chunk of what is.
Let me just get it up. Oh no, wrong one. I meant that one. There you go.
There we go. Yeah. Which is a lump of what is known as Kutenars, or its cable cutter equipped on a German bomber. I excavated this German bomber, and this you can see here is the ridged edge of a 20mm cannon shell. Now, I know who fired that cannon shell. That was Nigel Bunting, who was one of Britain's top nighttime aces. Unfortunately, the young lads on this, or fortunately at the time maybe, but not fortunately with hindsight now after it's finished, all died in the crash. The wing came off the Junkers 188. And to me, that shows I mean, most people would pick that up. Probably wouldn't give it a second look. But because I found it in the vicinity of the crash, I knew what it was. I'd seen the structure before. And to think that, that is a cannon shell hole from Nigel Bunting's 20mm cannon like that. And to be able to give it, and that's why it's vital where you can to do your research on stuff, because when I depart this mortal coil, unless I'd recorded that, I'm sure that my children will probably look at that and think, yeah, well, what the hell? But it just goes to show something pretty mundane can be something. Fantastic. And that's probably my favourite find, Shane. Or that one, which is a crew access handle to get upside in underneath a B-17 bomber. You'd open this to drop the flap down, the ladder would come down, in you'd go. But this is a really special one because this was one of the very first B-17s to come over to Britain, and it was a subject of a propaganda film called Flying Fortress with, I can never remember his name, Roger Green, who played Robin Hood in Britain. He was the pilot in a 1942 propaganda film. And on the film, if you watch it, you can see him open and touch this very handle.
Wow.
Where is it now? After 8 years? In Jules's storeroom. But, I love stuff like that because of its Hollywood connotations. It was made by Warner Brothers, the film. And, every time I watch the film, which is quite frequently because I just love it. So it's romance, it's war, and it's so 1942, it's unbelievable. But every time he grabs this handle, I look at it and I think, do you know what? Metal detecting made it possible for me to actually have something on that film that is now currently residing in a flat in Braintree.
Fantastic.
So the beauty of our hobby. Yes. The beauty of our hobby. So Shane, I hope that's sort of answered your questions. A bit of rusty metal and an old door handle, mate.
There's lots of comments in the chat. I think one of them I saw, Chrissy Detects, said, do you have a bucket list still, Jules? You found a hell of a lot of stuff. Oh,
God, yeah. Wow. Bucket listers are just amazing because they never seem to deplete. As soon as you get something off it, there's something else you think, you see on social media, I'd love one of those. So, yeah, Chrissy, my bucket list is, I've smacked a bit of it about over 50 years. But, yeah, it's what keeps you going, girl. Your bucket list just grows and grows, and you can make a small dent in it. But all the best, and I hope the next find you make knocks one off your bucket list, girl.
It's true though, Jules. You
Isn't
have a
it?
bucket list that you find it, and then
Yeah.
you see something that you've never knew existed or you've never found. I mean, mine is a simple one, fibula. Right, I haven't found one in 4 years. Found blinking gold
I know,
rings
yeah.
and nobles and hell and all stuff, but
It's-
a simple little fibula. I just
Yeah.
cannot seem. I've broken bits of fibula, and
Yeah.
I've got Roman sites, as you know, and I just can't seem to get one.
It's
Anyway,
funny, isn't it? Yeah, the hobby comes along like buses, literally. I mean,
Yeah.
this week, a gentleman found that beautiful Bronze Age axe mould.
oh
I saw-
yeah,
I saw 4 come up this week.
Mm.
You know, and
Really?
they're as rare as the proverbial rocking horse. Yeah,
Yeah.
two or three of them were broken. His one is absolutely beautiful. I saw one like that 10 years ago. Incredibly rare, beautiful finds. And then, you know, like Gala Belgic, blank, I'm lost for the words now, the E-type gold staters. I've seen 15 spread all over UK in the last month, and then you get none. You know, but the hobby is beautiful like that. You just never know what you're going to see next.
Adrian, you know when I come down, you know when I finally come down and detect your permissions, I will find a fibula on your permission, and you'll
you
stoke
know
me
you
in.
will. Yeah, you know you will. Yeah. Talking of metal detecting, someone fancy a year's supply of treasure hunting magazine? Shall we do a question on that?
Why the
Shall we?
hell not?
Yeah, Jules, would you like to ask someone a question on
Okay.
relating to treasure hunting magazine, or not? Who's the editor or the field tester or anything like that?
Um,
Papa Buller at the weekend for the field. Yes, I've had one of those, and they're fantastic, especially when you research.
there was a
them.
beauty came up, wasn't there? Pope Innocent. But fortunately, the finder has just written an article for the magazine. It's the finest Papa Buller I've ever seen. Now, a question relating to Treasure Hunting magazine.
For 12 months, this is for free,
12 months.
delivered to your door.
Okay.
Thank you to Greenlight Publishing, who are Treasure Hunting Magazine's publishers, and then the company all in one, encompassing, for providing this, Julian and Dan. So we do appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Okay. In what year did the first issue of Treasure Hunting magazine appear?
Ooh. I don't think I.
There's some awesome questions coming in here, you know. Some of these questions, Adrian, people haven't asked before. They're really, really good questions.
Well, try and build whatever, you know.
Whoa.
So the first one was oh, bloody hell, everyone's going for it. So
Jules,
the first answer was 1971, 1972, 77, 82, 78, 77, 73, 68, 89, 90, 78. Tell me when I'm right. 68, 81, 74.
Oh, was I supposed to tell you when it's right? Well,
Yeah.
the first. Right. Apologies to everybody. The first person on your message list who put 1977.
Oh, I've got it. I've got
Tony
it.
Kaywood. Tony Kaywood again.
Is it? Well done, Tony.
Shit a brick.
I was
Is
going
it?
to listen to you reading
Yeah.
off dates for the
Philip
next
Wills
hour.
was 71. Philip
Yeah.
Wills 72.
Oh, Gareth,
PC
unlucky.
77.
Yeah,
Oh,
1977.
Right, Tony, as you've won a prize, and as we ridicule Gareth every week, if I post you another prize, would you like be nice and allow Gareth to have the magazine? How's that sound? I will sort you out with a big detecting show bundle, the same as we done before. If
And
not, have the prize
I'll-
and I'll send the bundle to Gareth instead.
And I'll write you a poem about rootless metal detectors as well and post it or email it or
Not to
fax
be
it.
missed.
And I will
Yeah.
say, yes, he's mate, that's fine. So, Gareth Howard, congratulations.
Well done, Gareth.
More
So,
magazines
TT.
to go in the loft.
T- TC, we do appreciate he already subscribes anyway. That's fine. Appreciate that, TC. I will sort you out with a bundle.
Thanks, Tony. Brilliant. So, Gareth, you got 12 months to Britain's best-selling metal detecting magazine, top man. And we've also got this spade going out as well, and we've got just lots of things. So, thank you everyone for watching 150th episode.
And please come back, because we do have guests from all around the world. We've had people in Japan get up at silly o'clock in the morning, Australia, lots of people from America, lots of people who you actually will have seen on telly, the likes of History Hoarders. What else have we had on? The Lost Treasures of the Knights Templar, River Hunters.
Yeah.
And we have lined up in the coming weeks. One thing we've got lined up in the coming weeks, and I appreciate a lot of people on Royalist. It's not going to be a Royalist show because I'm not Royalist. I appreciate the royal family, but I'm not a supporter of them. On the 4th of May, we will be having, I think, the Thursday before the coronation, we'll be going to have a coronation special. Now, basically, what we're asking people to do is, if they've got any stories themselves about, you know, their relationship with the royal family. There's one been sent in to me already where he sent. I'm unable to use the images, but his family, 2 family members were. One was a footman on the royal coach, and one's a chef to the Queen. You've got stories coming in. If you've got any images of metal detecting finds that are in any way related to the royal family, be it livery, buttons, anything like that. Obviously not a coin because it's got the Queen on, but if you've got anything like that, please again send it over to us. Get us through with the Big Detecting Show on Facebook, the website. Get them all over to us. We'll show them throughout the show. We'd like people to come on the show and tell us about their stories if they want to. You could send a voicemail for the C60 cassette on the voicemail on the Big Detecting Show website, or you can even record a short video of yourself telling us and showing us about your find or your wee story. We do these occasionally. You've been on yourself, Julian, when we've done paranormal shows, which were a bit of a hit, weren't they, actually?
Oh, love that sort of stuff, mate. I'll have to send in my royal stuff because I did send Prince Charles and actually the Queen a copy of Treasure Hunting magazine and got a lovely letter back from both.
Oh, so brilliant.
Brilliant.
Wow.
That's good, because I actually investigated a crash site of a B-17 bomber, and it's the one, there's a famous photograph of the Queen walking along a row of B-17s, I think in 1944, and it's one of those aircraft. So I just thought she might like to know about it, and as it happened, she did. And
wow.
it's brilliant stuff.
Wow.
But just go.
Well, if you wouldn't mind it, obviously, Julian, we'd love to see them and whatever for the show.
Yeah, no
anything
problem.
Anybody's got, you know. And we appreciate. I actually put a post on the Big Detective Show, and there were a lot of negative comments. I appreciate people. It wasn't about the negative comments. We're not celebrating the fact that it's a historic event. We are celebrating a British historic event. It doesn't matter if you're a true believer in the Queen and the King, anything like that. It's about creating some content for the show, a little bit different, to show everybody it's your show. So we want you to be a part of it by sending your stuff over. It's not a historic event. Yeah.
Let's not forget the Roman Empire was one of the most barbaric, that used over 400 million slaves in its period, but I don't see anyone complaining about finding their coins. So
yeah.
Wow.
There you go.
400
and that Jimmy Savile badge that you found as well. Nobody complained about that, Adrian.
No. Yes. Never wrote to him. My wife did twice.
Were you in the in the what's the program called? The Vicar of Dibley? No. Yes.
No. Yes. He's passed, sadly. Talking of detectorists and those who've got a spare few £1,000s in the bank, the yellow Triumph TR7 that was used in the detectorist is up for auction.
Yes, it is.
And I messaged the owner of the magazine, Jules, and he didn't come back to me because what a great vehicle for Treasure Hunting magazine. We can only get 2 people in it.
I personally would say fantastic, and I wish the auction all the best. But I'm old enough to remember when the TR7 actually came
Yeah.
out, and it was little more than a rust bucket.
Yeah,
to be honest.
and they
But,
quite often overheated down the on
Yeah.
the hard shoulder
and
of
the windows
A12
seal,
board.
the front seal often goes as well, which is
Yeah.
one of the tragedies.
Yeah,
Lovely
they
looking
weren't great.
car, but
You-
my
you-
advice would be to find one in a scrapyard, spray it yellow, and just say you won the auction.
Yeah, yeah. But
Alternatively, don't invite me to get into it because I'll either break it when I get into it or I'll never get out again.
yeah. But the rear boot, I think, is signed by everyone in the show. But how lovely would it be to have that
Yeah,
as a bit of
I
memorabilia?
don't even drive, but I'd still like it.
Yeah, it's basically an Austin Allegro wedge shape,
Yeah.
isn't it? But
Oh, gosh,
anyway,
yeah.
And obviously famous from Wurzel Gummidge
yes, it was in Wurzel Gummidge. Yes, it was in the background.
with some detectoring behind him.
Eagle Eye DJ, didn't Prince Andrew give you a gift once, Adrian? No, he didn't. I don't think. I can't remember. Have we got any other questions for Jules?
Yeah,
Which
please,
is,
thank
I
you.
tell you what, we'll get one or two more. I'll scroll back up because we're very close to, well, we're 1 minute away from the end of the show, but who gives a shit because I'm off tomorrow.
I'm not. I've got work.
Oh, there we are. That was a brilliant question. What is your favourite horde? So all the hordes in the UK,
Ooh.
everything we know, which is your favourite one?
Well,
Oh, I love Stumpy.
Well, it's not a recent one, funny enough. It's one that's always fascinated me because I'd love to find one of the coins, and I yet have, although I've got a friend down in Kent who's now found, I think, 8 or 9 of them in the same field. Has just sent a story through the magazine, which is brilliant. But I've got to go for the 1840s Crondall hoard of Anglo-Saxon pale gold shillings, Thrymsers. A guy apparently sat down to have a sandwich or something on a peat bog, presumably Crondall, and looked down in where they'd stripped the peat, and there was these little tiny gold coins, and he collected, I can't remember how many, I think there were about 50, 60. And that's always just intrigued me that, you know, now when people find Thrymsers, they're classified as post-Crondall hoard or Crondall hoard type. So it would have to be the 1840s Crondall hoard of Anglo-Saxon Thrymsers. There you go.
yeah, that's a nice one, isn't it, Dave?
I know what mine is, but I can't remember what it's called, so I'm not going to say it.
I know what mine is, but I can't talk about it.
That one.
Yeah, that one. Jules knows.
Have you ever found a Roman dodecahedron?
Yes, actually, I did. I've got a photograph of it somewhere. Funny enough, that's a good question because I was actually thinking about those things today. In contact with a guy in France who studies them. And I did, in a field in Stevenage in 1950, a complete one was found. There's a lecturite copy in Stevenage Museum. I think the original's in the British Museum. I actually got permission to search that field 35, 40 years ago and found a fragment of one, just the bubble and the apex angle going like that. And I haven't got it now. I think I mislaid it or sold it a long time ago. But yes, so I found part of one. But I'm going to go and dig that photograph out now. You just know it. But yeah, an interesting question and strange because I was just thinking about those artifacts today.
Do one, Adrian, and I'm trying to find out the name of that horde because it'll
I've
annoy me.
got a badger attacking me. Jules, have you ever had a badger try and attack you whilst detecting, or any animals, or any snakes or anything?
I've seen badgers. They're really weird. If you've never seen them before, I went camping about 8 years ago. I've seen them dead on the road, of course. And then I looked in this field of dry summer grass, which was quite tall. And I thought, oh, they're weird sheep over there. And they're quite big. A lot of people think they're small. And I looked and they were like lolloping along like this. And I thought, that ain't right. And I was about 100 metres away. So I looked through the old camera and I thought, oh, bloody hell. There was a whole badger set had come out, a whole family, about 20, 30 of them, all feeding. And man, until you see one run, they're capable of 30 miles an hour.
I know they are. I got chased last year.
But no, I've never been a big old boar badger. That's a big old unit, a real big unit.
They eat small children as well. They do eat small children. Definitely do eat small children.
It was the Cunetio.
Yeah, it depends on how you pronounce that. Cunetio.
Oh, that'll do.
Yeah, that's
Cunetio.
a cracker, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
I met the guy come and spoke to me at Rodney Cook about 2 years ago. And he's actually wrote a book, and all the information was in the book, and it was just absolutely fascinating. In fact, especially the fact that it was so long ago and the manner of which it was found, that it was like, shit, what do we do now? And the police involvement and everything about it. It was just absolutely fascinating story. One last more question. Let me just have a look.
No problem.
Let me just have a look.
Paul B.
Adrian, you choose because there's lots. I was going to ask one of Will Way's ones about if he has a poo before or after.
How does Jules know all the info, aircraft bits he finds, even who was flying them? How do you find it all out?
Right, it's by having a good network of very passionate friends. I've been in the business of aircraft for 40 years, and believe you me, I'm not the longest one. But I have a network all over Germany, America, who have access to sometimes what were confidential documents. It's a process. You've got to be a detective, much the same as a detectorist, you know, when you're hunting out Roman villas, little clues. And these little clues exist with aircraft. Sometimes you know everything about it. There's nothing archaeological to ascertain. You know who shot it down, why it crashed, where it crashed, who lived, who died, all things like that. So you know, so when you excavate it, there's not a lot of archaeological, you don't need to go carefully. You want to bring it out of the ground as carefully as you can, don't damage it, and then look, and then the stuff you don't want, you put back in the ground for somebody else in the future. But it's quite complicated, but I rely on social media. Just the other month, I've been investigating a crash for 40 years, and I got an email from a 14-year-old girl who found my name on Facebook, and I said, right, get your dad's permission to correspond. And she said, she goes, my grandfather was squadron leader, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, he's the bloke who shot this Heinkel down. And there are no known photographs. And she said, I've got his logbook. And in the front, there's 4 photographs. And I thought, please, let them be. You know, in those days, I used to smoke under this old oak tree. And I knew it crashed in the field. But I tried to visualize it. And then her dad emailed me the photographs, and there was the oak tree that I smoked under in 1944. Her grandfather having a cigarette against this 9-foot-high propeller blade, and marvelous. But that was, you know, these things happen. If you make yourself people know that you're interested in it, you'll get a response. I mean, I've had loads of people track me down on social media saying, that was my granddad. Do you know anything about him? I've had people come over from Germany, America, stay with me, and I've taken them into woods, you know, where their fathers were killed. And that is really emotional. But again, that's one of those things, the great honor and privilege that I could never have had without a metal detector. You know,
no, it's true. Yeah.
I like thinking that, you know, and it's not being big-headed, but I like thinking that me and my associates who do this have caused a lot of happiness for people whose families were really destroyed in many cases by the loss of a dad, you know, loss of a brother. And although we can never make up for that, it's a little bit of closure for those families. And I say, you know, to our critics, you want to look at some of the photographs and some of the letters I've got, and you want to try and ban this. No deal. Certainly not on my watch, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, that's another show in itself, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Anytime.
I should also, whenever you're talking and it's getting deep, I shouldn't read the comments because Gareth Howard put one in.
Yeah, I know.
I had a passionate friend once. He's sadly now in prison.
Yeah. Yes.
Anyway.
But like Stephen Gray, hi Stephen, he's just put, hope you're well, mate.
Right,
good
Steve.
network of enthusiasts, fair play, yes.
Will Way says, Jules, on another point, I like your posts on wildlife. It's one of my favourite subjects.
Oh, I love it. It blends in with metal detecting so well.
It does indeed.
Maybe you should have a wildlife section in the magazine. Anyway,
we're an hour and a half running over. Which we don't care about because we've been chatting to Jules and it's always
listen, it's been a privilege, guys, and if ever somebody bails out or you're a shortfall, you know, I'm quite diverse in the subject matter. I've got thousands of finds laid out all over the floor, sort of thing. There's
I'll tell you
miles
what,
and
Jules.
hours yet.
We'll book you in for the 22nd of June, and you can co-host with Adrian because I'm going to a gig that night.
That might be beyond my technical capabilities, but I'm sure
No,
Adrian
it
can
won't
help
be at
me.
all. It's exactly the same as what you're doing now.
Me and Jules could do one live from a public house.
Well, you and Jules are doing one live from the Dedham Vale Metal
Yes,
Detecting
we are.
Club next month.
Yes, I forgot about that. Those who are watching the show tonight and have got something in which they think, I'm not sure what this is, or I think it's interesting, or I want to write an article, email Julian at Treasure Hunting.
Julian at Treasure Hunting, all one word, .co.uk. I always want to add .com on that, but it's not. So it's Julian at treasurehunting.co.uk. Even if it's a question that I didn't manage to answer tonight and you want to fire it over, always got time for a fellow metal detectorist.
Brilliant.
Thanks.
So, a few more last minute notices. Over the coming weeks, we're waiting on 2 people to give us a date for coming on the show. Both are very, very busy. One's got like 400,000 followers on social media, so you can imagine how busy they are. The other one's flitting around from here, there in the world at the moment, doing different events. But we do have Digger Dawn coming on in a couple of weeks' time. She's in America at the moment. She's at the Garrett Memorial Dig with lots of well-known people from American YouTube, KG, Ringy, the American Digger magazine, loads of people over in Texas at the moment for that. Who?
Fall Guy. Night Rider, Fall Guy.
All right. We also have, obviously, the big coronation special coming up. And on the 18th of May, I believe, Adrian, along with Julian and Wendy Howard and many other people, will be coming live from the Dedham Vale Metal Detecting Club monthly meeting, which is a first for this show. So live outside broadcast.
That'd be good. The vans will be there, satellite dishes, everything. Yeah. Full team.
So we will have a guest next week. Don't worry about that. As I say, we're waiting on Dilek coming on to tell us all about the new Nocta range. But I'm not pushing Dilek. I'm letting Dilek decide when she wants to come on the show because she is very busy at the moment. She would have come on tonight along with Julian, but she's got to get up at a ridiculous hour to do an American show, which she'd already organised. So she'll get back to me in the coming days. So again, Julian, I can't thank you enough. It's always a pleasure. I can't wait to see you in person again. And even Lisa, who I have found out wasn't Lisa, is still on Facebook.
No, she did check and say, "Oh, I'm still a friend."
Jules, this is someone else, Lisa Dawn Allen, another account, exactly the same pictures.
Yeah, it's an alias.
Oh, I'm not good enough for that alias, am I? Anyway,
mad world.
Absolute pleasure. Good to have you back, Adrian. And thank you, everybody. David. Thanks to all the new viewers. And please come back. As I say, we've been quite nice tonight, haven't we?
Hey, I'll tell you what. Thanks, everyone. And David, well done. 150th show. Bang. That is big.
Brilliant. That's well done, everyone involved.
Yeah, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you to
well done
everyone
to that, man.
Thank you to everyone who's been on the show in the past. And please, if you feel that you want to come on the show and you're a little bit dubious, it's a piece of piddle. It's just 3 people chatting on the pub. You don't even have to have the comments on, see what's going on. It's just the 3 of us chatting. So we will see you next week, episode 150. Actually, it's episode 152 next week, really, in reality.
No, because I wasn't there for last week, so
okay,
149.5
last week. Okay.
Cheers,
thank you, everybody, and we will see you next week. Thanks, Jules. Good night, everyone.